everybody. Welcome to another episode of Two Strike Noise, your mother's uncle's third cousin removed barber's neighbor's second favorite baseball history podcast ever of all time. My name is Jeff. I'm one half of the show. Joining me, as always, from the Pacific Northwest, this week in the Jose Paniagua studio, it is my co-host, Mark A. Johnston.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
It's good to be here, man. Did you have a nice week off?
Well, it wasn't different from a lot of my weeks. I'll just say that. I'm not a big Thanksgiving guy. My wife and I, neither of us eat turkey. We don't really, we had a roasted duck as we usually do. And I didn't watch football. And pretty much just kind of hung around. How about you?
I watched Christmas specials, like the one with Heat Miser and Snow Miser and some more of those Rankin Bass things, and hung out with the family. It was pretty fun.
Oh, well, good. I hope everybody else had a good holiday weekend, or a holiday, I guess. We are big in, Singapore, as well as throughout Norway, Sweden, what's that called? That area.
The Scandinavian states?
Yes, very big there. And also in Albania. We've got several downloads. So not everybody was celebrating a holiday last week when we took a week off.
That's true. Yes. Baseball is a sport for the world. And so if you didn't celebrate Thanksgiving, that's okay. We still are happy to have you along.
Yes, we're here for baseball.
Speaking of, somebody did provide us with some more Thanksgiving names from baseball.
Oh, okay. What did we miss?
Yeah, Wes Bishop wrote us, and I really like all three of these. How about Dale Cranberry?
Okay, yeah.
Rick Sweet Potato.
Rick Sweet. That one's a little bit more iffy.
Sweet Potato.
Yeah, I like it. I made Sweet Potato too. I just, it's Santa. Nah.
How about Shane Mac and Cheese? Not bad, Wes.
Yeah, no, I like the Shane Mac and Cheese. That's a good one too. Yeah. Well, we're going to try to come up with some other. We already did this. We already did the Christmas name game last year, so we'll have to come up with some different categories to play around with. But I like those name games; those are fun. Let's get into this episode, though, Mark. Before we go too much further, let's go ahead and stretch. Take some BP here so that we're ready to go. We're going to talk music here for a little while. Now, we're not talking music like Red's Hot or Get Mesmerized or A Long Walk Home, Rick Cerrone, that kind of stuff. We are going to be talking a little bit more contemporary music. So currently, the Athletics are playing in Sacramento. This is an unfortunate fact. And I guess they're trying to blaze their own identity. The A's have played Celebration by Kool and the Gang for decades. They tried to change it a couple of years ago and just everyone hated it. Everyone loves Celebration. That's the win song with it. Gotcha. When I hear, that's all I think about are my good times at the Coliseum. But since moving to Sacramento, they play Tupac and Dr. Dre's California Love, which is I love that song.
I do too, actually. Song. I think that's a great song.
It is a great song. And I remember when Kenley Jansen was the closer for the Dodgers, that was his entrance music. And I don't remember who else. It's another one of the California teams. Maybe it's the Dodgers now, played California Love after a home run while the guy is circling the bases. But there's some irony in this song, and I doubt, because the A's aren't that smart, that it is ironic. I think they just don't understand that there's a little bit more to it. Tupac was shot and killed in Las Vegas.
Yes, I was there that night.
Have you been... Has the police talked to you? Have they established your whereabouts?
No, I tried to get them to talk to me, but they were like, dude, you were inside of a casino when all this happened. And there's so many cameras that we know you didn't have anything to do with it. Now leave us alone.
Okay.
I tried to get, I wanted to be interviewed.
You wanted to be part of the discourse. Well, Let's just remember, the A's say they're moving to Las Vegas, which is where Tupac was shot and killed. Yes. Tupac, though, has a lot of ties to Oakland as well. He was born in New York, but he and his family moved to Marin, which is where I was born, which is, just part of the Bay Area here. In the late 80s, he later lived in Oakland, and he referred to himself as an Oakland native, and he claimed to be from Oakland. This is where he loved to. This is what he considered home.
Yes.
So he was discovered, began his professional career in Oakland. He was a dancer and roadie. This I did not know, for one of my favorite acts, Oakland-based Digital Underground.
Oh, yes.
Sex Packets.
Political, lyrical miracle whip.
Oh, man, I love me some I was going to say DU. I don't know if they're called DU. I'll just say Digital Underground.
Absolutely.
Before he became a rapper. So it's kind of ironic that they play a song by Tupac that is about somebody that considers themselves from Oakland. And, Lord knows the Athletics are not from Oakland originally, was then killed in Las Vegas, which it killed my fandom. So
yes,
it killed a lot of people's fandom.
Yeah, this is true.
So let's talk about another rapper who this one is an idiot. It's Kanye West.
Oh, God.
But I found out he references the A's in a song called Gorgeous. I was not familiar with this song, but it is on the album My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy from 2010, which I enjoy that album. It's got some really good tracks on it. I can separate Kanye the person from Kanye the artist here because there's some really good songs on that album. But in Gorgeous, he says, like a young Al Davis with some Raiders from the Bay, but the difference is I'm the first black CEO to finally get it poppin'. I used to play for the Oakland A's and now I'm CEO. I have no idea what that means, but go A's. Oakland A's.
That's right.
Okay, so he references the Raiders and just win baby Al Davis, which fine, whatever. But I used to play for the A's and now I'm CEO. Is that a Hammer reference or I don't know.
I'm not sure where he was going with that.
I guess Hammer didn't play for the A's. He was just the bat boy and almost CEO of the A's at one point. But there's a couple of music things there. So I wanted to bring those up. It's kind of what we do, just throw away stuff here in BP having to do with baseball. Non-throwaway stuff having to do with baseball, though, is we've talked about the Contemporary Era Committee Hall of Fame vote for this upcoming vote. I'm not sure if we talked about it after they narrowed it down, but we took our own vote and we already determined that Dale Murphy's going to be the only guy going in. That's right. And they did narrow it down to 8 players. The 8 players they will be considering is Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Carlos Delgado, Jeff Kent, Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy, Gary Sheffield, and Fernando Valenzuela. So we talked about all those when we talked about these guys. We said we weren't voting for Bonds or Clemens or for me, Sheffield, too. I think he did it. And Kent, I don't know. He's got the roid rage. I just don't know that he did the roids.
It's not fair to have just the rage.
He's just got the rage.
You should get the bonus stats too.
Yeah, that's exactly. But, I wanted Don Mattingly, and Keith Hernandez did not make the cut here again, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think if Don Mattingly could get in, I think that would be a big plus. I think Keith Hernandez would be in the next time they do this era committee. But I don't know that he will. I think Dale Murphy will. And I was seeing they released the list of people that will be voting on this era committee. And I think it bodes well for Murphy because a lot of these guys played against him. And so that is always kind of a, I know what this guy could do.
Yeah, they saw him up close. Yeah. They saw his talent. And yeah, I agree.
So here are the people that will be voting in the Contemporary Baseball Era Committee on those players that I just named. First of all, we've got Hall of Fame members that then get to vote. So the Hall of Famers that will be voting are Fergie Jenkins, Jim Cott, Juan Marichal, Tony Perez, Ozzie Smith, Alan Trammell, and Robin Yount.
Nice. Okay, that's a good selection.
Yeah, it says Yount. They spelled it out phonetically. Also voting will be Major League executives Mark Antasano or Antaseo. I don't know how to say his name. Doug Melvin, Artie Moreno, Kim G. That's kind of cool that she's I don't know what team I thought she was working for MLB now, but whatever. Tony Riggins and Terry Ryan, and then media members Steve Hurt, who used to own Elias, Tyler Kepner, and Jason Stark, who is, of course, a very prolific and well-known writer on his own. Everyone knows who Jason Stark is.
He starts in the middle of everything.
Yeah. So those are the people that will be voting on those 8 players. I'm really curious to see how many votes like Bonds and Clemens and Sheffield get. Who knows? All 3 of them could be voted in. I don't think they will. I don't think any of them will. But interesting to watch and see if they do, see if people are starting to soften on that. But none of these players that are voting played in the steroid era. Yeah, I mean, you got Ozzy, Tram, and Yount were all kind of at the very tail end of their careers. Right. That was just kind of starting. So I don't think they're going to get a lot of love from these guys unless they're buddies.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It depends on each person's attitude about the whole era and so on like that. It'll be interesting to see.
So apparently there are interviews of Jim Cott praising Don Mattingly, one of his favorite players. And Tony Perez is also friends with Mattingly. And Kim G was in the front office of the Marlins when he was the manager of the Marlins. So there's some ties there. And remember, I think we talked about it, Frankie Frisch was on this committee for a long time and just rubber stamped anybody that played with him. So that's not cool. We don't want people just because you knew them. But these people are human. So
yeah,
we'll see what they come
I'll tell you what, Mattingly, he kind of defined an era. I had a buddy, his name is Nick Reese, and he's the biggest Don Mattingly fan and a listener. Hi, Nick. A big Don Mattingly fan, so I know everything about Mattingly because he made sure I knew. And the guy could hit.
And he was a great fielder. It's just longevity because of his back. I think that's the thing. But Dale Murphy checks all those boxes. I mean, if Dale Murphy is not a shoe-in here, I'm going to be as upset as I was when Judge beat out Cal Raleigh for the MVP. That's probably a little bit more upset because this is a little bit closer to me, but
sure.
And we want Daniel to come up with a new piece of artwork celebrating Dale Murphy's entrance into the Hall of Fame. It's his favorite player and his buddy. So that's it for the Hall of Fame stuff. I was listening to a conversation, or probably reading. I don't listen to anything. Well, I don't read a whole lot either. I don't know what it was, but it was talking about, I think it might have been even about the American League MVP race and RBIs, home runs, all this kind of stuff. And I got curious, who has the most RBIs with the least amount of home runs in history in a single season? And the answer is one of our buddies, Ed Delahunty. I don't know. We call him a buddy, but a show favorite, Ed Delahunty.
Sure.
In 1899, he hit 9 home runs and drove in 137 RBI.
Wow.
On only 9 home runs. Now, second on this list, 4 years prior, Steve Brody with the Baltimore Orioles went on to be that's not the Baltimore Orioles yet. It was just a team in Baltimore called the Orioles. It's not the Browns moving up there yet. Steve Brody hit 2 home runs and drove in 134 RBI.
Huh.
That's 3 less RBI and 7 less home runs. And then we've got Ed Delahunty's in third place again with 1894, 4 home runs, 133 RBI.
Very nice, man. That's some clutch hitting.
It just tells me not a lot of guys getting on in front of him.
Yeah.
Or no, it does. No, a lot of guys getting on in front of him. They're just not hitting home runs. They're just driving them in.
Yeah.
But then there's Paul Wainer on this list, Luke Appling, Dan Brothers, Ty Cobb, Nap Lajoie several times, Honus Wagner. It's just a litany of those early Hall of Fame guys there. So then my next thought was, all right, let's flip it around and go for pitchers. Who has struck out the most while giving up the most hits in a season? as opposed to the fewest hits. I wanted to flip it around. Matt Kilroy in 1886. He went 29-34 that year. Led the league in losses. Led the league in games started, complete games. He started 68. He finished 66 of them. Led the league in earned runs. He did lead the league in strikeouts with 513. And wild pitches with 61.
Wow. Wow, that's a lot of wild pitches. Of course, he was pitching every inning.
Yes, but he struck out 513. So he struck out 513 and he gave up 476 hits. That's
funny.
And
never would have thought that.
Yeah, his whip was 1.129. That's a fantastic whip for a starter.
Not bad at all. Yeah.
Let alone somebody that threw 66 complete games.
No kidding.
Toad Ramsey, my boy Toad, was second. I just want to throw it out there because he was Louisville Colonels, the Gladiators teammate, my guy. And Guy Hecker's on there. Nolan Ryan is on there, too. He's number 8,
I would have thought so.
8 on the list when he struck out 383, gave up 238 hits in 1973.
Let's say that again. He struck out 383.
Yep.
I just wanted to point that out because that's incredible.
Let's see. He's on here several times, as you can guess. As
Rube
Waddell
on there, and Rube,
Bob Feller, Randy Johnson, Toad Ramsey's on here a couple of times. Pud Galvin, Sandy Koufax. Again, this is another just list of just complete Hall of Famers until you get down to Curt Schilling. Screw him. Who cares? But there we go. That is our BP segment for the week. So we're all warmed up. Grounds crew is out here doing their stuff. They're in top form because they are also the grounds crew for the leagues down in the Caribbean. So they're in the middle of their season.
That's right.
Mid-season form. So, Mark, I'm going to take the story this week. I'm going to talk about somebody I had not heard about until about 2 weeks ago. Let's see how many other people have heard of this guy. So I want you to picture this. Let's go back to September 20th, 1944. 5 years before you were born. So you can't really remember it, but
wow, that hurts.
Close. September 20th, 1944, the St. Louis Browns. This is a team, a franchise that's been around since 1902, and they have won exactly butt kiss. Nothing. They had only 10 winning seasons previously. Not a pennant, just winning seasons. Never did anything more than have a winning season. Never the best team. On the flip side, though, they had 17 seasons of 90 or more losses. That's a lot. That's Mariners, until the 2000s kind of numbers right there.
Yeah.
But on this day, they are one win away from the only pennant that will ever touch their hands in the entire cursed existence of this franchise in St. Louis. So who do they hand the ball to in this most important day in team history? A guy named Sig Jakucki.
Sig Jakucki.
Jakucki.
Okay.
Use his last name in a sentence.
Jakucki?
Yeah.
Oh boy, the obvious one isn't going to work.
And I did tease this on my stream this last week that I was going to have you retell the Doug Minkiewicz sentence because I couldn't remember what it was. Yeah, go ahead and spit that out. I told everybody they had to listen to hear it.
So to use the last name Minkiewicz in a sentence, my buddy is a spelunker, and that's people that search through caves, and he was spelunking, and he got really into some weird moss and stuff, and he came back out, and he had this rash all over his arm, and the local doctor hadn't seen it in a long time. He said it was some kind of dormant cave itch.
Still makes me laugh. Because you use the word dormant, which kind of sounds like Doug, but that's not what you're going for because we just need the last name.
That's right.
But you got the dormant. It's the mat of Minkiewicz. Right. It's good work. Very good.
Thank you very much.
All right.
It's one of my favorites.
Back to Sig Jakucki, otherwise known as Jack to his buddies. So, and I know it sounds kooky, but what's even kookier is that this is the man who, roughly 48 hours to this most important game in the entire history of the franchise, the Browns would not have been able to locate even if they had like a handful of Apple tags taped to his entire body. They're not going to find him. But we'll get back to that game later. That's what's called a tease. So, first we have to understand how I called him Jack because he's my buddy. But first we have to understand how Sig Jakucki became the accidental savior of the most hapless franchise of the 20th century. So now we're going to hear the rest of the story. Paul Harvey.
Yeah.
Here's what you need to know about early career Sig. He threw hard. He drank harder. Organizations kept signing him because he threw hard. They would hear the stories, and before they knew it, they would see for themselves that they were all true. Minor league managers would rave about his arm. I mean, right before they would suspend him because then they wouldn't see him for 5 or 6 days after he pitched. They'd clear him to pitch again. He'd pitch a great game. And then the next day, poof, gone again. No hope of finding him. Sometimes he'd show up at the ballpark in a condition that he probably wouldn't be allowed to board an airplane in. Probably wouldn't even be allowed in a ballpark as a fan these days in that condition. Wasn't necessarily a bad guy. Teammates seemed to like him enough, but alcohol is, I mean, it's a problem. It's not a lifestyle choice. It's a disease, alcoholism. So in high school, you had theater kids, right? And that was kind of their whole personality. Or you have the Ricky Henderson baseball guy. That was his whole personality, right? And some of us never changed, but Sig went through his entire life as the drunk guy. That was his thing. Over and over again, he'd sign somewhere, he'd push, vanish, get punished, then get another chance because someone else needed an arm. And believe it or not, was not a left-handed pitcher.
Wow.
Righty, yeah. So this is the 30s we're talking about. That is peak Prohibition era. So we've covered a lot of players from this time, and a lot of players drank a lot. I don't know where they're getting this booze.
It's medicinal purposes.
Yeah, that must be it. Like medical marijuana. That's right. You could get a doctor's note. But at this point, players, when they would get in trouble, discipline wasn't a big thing. It often meant they'd get a stern talking to in the clubhouse, maybe like a $5 fine, and that's it. Sig still managed to cross whatever line existed because he wouldn't ever be around to get that stern lecture. So there goes any sort of punishment. But by the late 30s, he had only pitched in 7 big league games for the St. Louis Browns, but well over 100 in the minors. But the cycle had repeated itself enough times that he basically fell out of organized baseball. The teams had had enough of his antics. You know, one good game was not worth a month of a headache. So he's just gone. He ends up working odd jobs, playing some semi-pro ball, and everyone assumed that was the end of Sig's baseball career. Now, at this point in the story, I'm going to give you some of these stories about him in the minor leagues. He was pinned as one of those has a good arm, shame it didn't work out guy. No control. Well, he had control, just not control over his alcoholism. So some highlights from his minor league time. During the 1935 seasons, he was with the Galveston Buccaneers. And Jackuki hit a batter in the head with a pitch, put him in a coma for a week.
Ooh.
No batting helmets or anything at that point. And who knows? It was dangerous. Against the Houston Buffaloes the next season, Jackuki was being heckled by the Buffaloes fans. Are there a lot of Buffaloes in Houston? I guess in Texas.
There must be. I think they moved, though, to New York or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they migrated and just stayed.
That's right. It's just one big herd.
Yeah. So Jackuki and his manager / teammate, Jack Mealy, had enough of the heckling, and they went into the stands and started throwing fists.
Well, frowned upon, I'm sure.
Yeah, but, not that uncommon, we're finding.
Right.
Not that uncommon. This is my favorite one. While attending a wrestling match in Atlanta, he and teammate Yule Moore got involved in the action. And now I'm not sure if this was an early version of a work or not, but according to reports, Jackuki flattened the referee and then started taking on spectators and other wrestlers before being arrested and led out of the venue. I mean, I see this all the time. Still today in wrestling, this is a common storyline, but I don't think there weren't really storylines back at this time. So I think this was a legitimate.
Right. It was a shoot. It wasn't a shoot. It was a shoot.
It was, yeah, it was absolutely just a shoot. It's what it was. He was probably drunk at the time. Then later in 1942, he was pitching in a tournament. And after losing a game, he drunkenly confronted the home plate umpire later that night by holding him over the edge of a bridge before police officers brandishing guns were able to arrest him.
Wait, that's called confronting?
Yes, that's confronting. That's mob. That's how mob bosses send people that break kneecaps to confront people.
They confronted them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then something happened that changed everything. Pearl Harbor happened. When the war effort obviously decimated Major League rosters, the Browns, like every other team, needed pitching. They needed it so badly that they would basically sign anybody with a pulse and a working shoulder. Enter our boy Sig. Now, the Browns, not exactly the 27 Yankees, as I've explained. They were the Yankees' friend that always, I got to go to the bathroom right when he sees the check coming to the table.
Right, there you go.
That kind of guy. So, in 1944, some genius in the Browns front office thinks, hey, Jackuki's down in Galveston working as a longshoreman. He's still got an arm, I think. That was good enough for them. They're the Browns. This is what they do. So once they had indeed confirmed that he did still have a pitching arm, they signed him to a contract. He's 30-something years old. Who knows when he last pitched competitively? He's a tad unpredictable. We've established that. But what could possibly go wrong here? Putting an alcoholic on a major league mound for an entire season. It sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
So here's the part of the story that we've been waiting for. Sig Jakucki becomes one of the most important pitchers on a potential pennant-winning baseball team's sad sack roster of wartime fill-ins. That season, he throws 188 1/3 innings. He compiles a record of 13-9 with a 3.55 ERA. Now, that might sound pretty mid at this point, but remember, all the good pitchers are serving their countries. I think Sig's probably a little too drunk to have served his country. So passable wartime ace numbers look more like anchor of the staff type stuff at this point because everyone's gone.
Right.
But, of course, this being Sig, it wasn't smooth sailing. As I mentioned, alcoholism, it's a disease. And if you don't want help, you're probably not going to get better on your own. Mid-season, he ends up missing, goes on a drunken spree, gets suspended because they couldn't find him for a while. Browns manager Luke Sewell spent most of the 1944 seasons plugging holes. Remember that, I assume, most fairy tales in my head are Dutch, where the guy sticks his finger in the dam to plug a leak, and then another one appears, and he keeps doing that. Sig made like 15 of these holes just on his own. So we're talking all 10 fingers and one whole foot is blocking this dam.
Right.
But the Browns need him because everyone else on the roster was literally either 17 years old or 53 years old. Basically a warm body that could hold a bat and just take 3 pitches and go sit down. So whatever Sig could give them, even if it came via the bottom of the bottle, they would take it and they would like it. The Browns fought their way into a late September pennant race, along with the Detroit Tigers and the New York Yankees. On September 20th, they need this one game. This is where we started. Just one game to clinch their first American League pennant. The most important day in franchise history, the kind of game where you hand the ball to the ace of your staff. So the Browns, we know who their ace is. It's Sig at this point. Knowing his penchant for the bottle, everybody pleaded with him not to drink the night before. Just take one night off, win this ball game, and then go celebrate. To which Sig replied, well, I went to bed at 6 in the morning because the game didn't start until 1:30. So he's probably getting a solid 6 hours of sleep.
Oh, yeah, sack time, baby.
Yeah, so get this. Sig delivers. He throws a complete game 5-2 win over the Yankees. The Browns, the St. Louis Browns, win the pennant in 1944. On that night, Sig Jakucki was not a problem. He was the answer. He was the ketchup-stained sock, if you will. He was the Jack Morris in 1991. He was the Yoshinobu Yamamoto in this year's World Series. He was that guy. He was the right arm that carried an entire franchise up a mountain that you would have never thought they would have access to because the government has jacked up the prices just to get into national parks now and sold most of the rights to billionaire drilling companies. Okay, I got ahead of myself there a little bit. That's the wrong decade. I'll rein it back in there. And it's the most Brown story imaginable if you think about it, because their greatest moment was authored by a man that had been suspended that very season for being drunk on the job. So the World Series, the Browns go. And there they are going to play, wait for it, St. Louis.
Oh, boy.
They're going to play the Cardinals. So this is like today it's one of today's MLB dreams to have that. So it'd be like the Marlins and the Rays World Series. How exciting.
That's right. Yes.
The Browns win 2 of the first 3 games, though, and then they hand the ball to Sig in game 4. And like always, you get both Jakuckis. I just like to say that name. I hope I'm saying it right. There's no pronunciation, so I'm phonetically doing it. He's the guy that gives you 7 innings and only 2 runs, but he is also the guy that ends up in an argument with a home plate umpire over balls and strikes. And he's also the guy that teammates had to walk around between innings to calm him down just for him to be able to go back out and pitch. He was so worked up about the umpire. Despite the fact he only gave up 2 runs in 7 innings. The Browns, being the Browns, though, lost the game and then ended up losing the series in 6. But Sig had done his job. He had 1 magical season and 1 huge World Series start. The next season, 1945, happened. And everything that held him together that year before came undone. His drinking escalated. He got into fights. He was even arrested after 1 incident. So on June 20th, he played a role in a very violent brawl. He was tired of listening to the verbal abuse from White Sox batting practice pitcher, Carl Scheel. Jackuki and several other teammates charged from their dugout into the White Sox dugout and piled on top of him. And then, of course, everybody piled on top of everybody. But a batting practice pitcher is just giving him grief from the dugout, and he'd had enough. Another time, the Browns were in Boston, and Jackuki threw up on the mound. We see this every now and then. You see it in football sometimes. Just guys get jacked, and they just throw up there. But I think he threw up for other reasons. He said, quote, "I went in, got a glass of water in the clubhouse, came back out, finished the game." So I guess his hangover probably ended when he threw up. But while he and teammate Ellis Clary were drinking in a Manhattan bar one night, a gangster pulled a gun on Jackuki. After taking it away from him, that's all they said. I'm going to assume it was like John Wick style. He took it away from him. And then he knocked him out.
Nice.
So early Wick. Sewell, his manager, refused to let him take a train when the team was going to Chicago, but he showed up anyway drunk at the station. Then he challenged the manager and the entire Browns coaching staff to a fight. He's like, "I'll fight you. If I win, I get on the train." They weren't going to do that. And then he quietly slipped into a different car and away from the station they go. He's discovered about 5 miles into this trek and was ejected at the next stop. I like to think it's like, you know, in the cartoons when you grab them by the belt in the back of the neck and then you kick them in the butt and they fly
That's
out.
Right. Yes, that's what they did.
It's exactly what happened, yeah. Still determined to reach Chicago, though, Jackuki rode a freight train, hobo style, to Chicago. But when he got there, he was not allowed a room at the team's hotel. The Browns suspended him for the rest of the season after that. Wartime desperation was over. Players had served, and now they were back in their baseball uniforms. So whatever leeway they'd given Sig in 1944 was now completely gone. The Browns tried to trade him, but no major league team had any desire to acquire this guy, especially now that they had all their regulars back. The Browns assigned him to the San Antonio Missions in the Texas League. Manager Jimmy Adair there informed the ball club before the start of the season that there were 2 sets of rules. One for the team and one for Jackuki. That rule, the main rule here for Jackuki is that he will not attend any games unless the local paper says that he would be pitching that day. So he only knew if he was going to pitch if the paper said so. So what happens on the road? You're not getting the San Antonio Times if you're in St. Louis. I don't know how that works.
Right.
I don't know. But apparently the system worked well enough, except for the days Jackuki would still show up drunk and not last very long during the games.
Except for those days.
Yeah, except for those days. Sometimes when he was not pitching, he would come to watch the Missions games from the stands, usually with a girl on each arm, according to spectators, I guess. I don't remember who, but I remember we did a story where a guy, he was a drunk too. It might have been Toad Ramsey. Like it literally might have been Toad Ramsey would do this too. Show up on days he wasn't pitching drunk with girls on each arm. It's a power move is what it is. But as you can guess, this was not going to work out. He was finally released. Sig returned to Galveston, where he worked as a longshoreman again. His alcoholism, shockingly enough, continued to affect him. He finally did get help and gave up drinking in 1961 because he had cirrhosis of the liver. That'll do it.
Imagine that.
Yeah. So, to pass the time, he took up smoking multiple packs of cigarettes a day. You got to pass the time
that's a good
somehow.
call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By 1978, he was suffering from emphysema, as one does when you smoke that much. I mean, he can't catch a break.
No, I mean, he did nothing to cause all that.
No. So he finally passed away at age 69 in 1979. He was buried at Galveston's Calvary Cemetery, where his name was mistakenly spelled wrong on his headstone. I guess you wouldn't purposely spell it wrong on his headstone. Seems kind of appropriate, though. I was thinking maybe it's the way he spelled it after he'd had a couple of drinks. You know, the C's and the U's and the A's kind of look different when you're writing that way, but I think it's been fixed. If it hasn't, that seems like a great Saber project to get that fixed, but I'm guessing that it's been fixed. But that is the story of a guy I had never, ever heard of, Sig Jakucki. Remember him for the grid.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, that'll do it for our main story of the day. Mark, that means we're going to head into the final seg of the show. It is time for everybody's favorite part. It's time for Wax Pack Hero.
Wax Pack Hero! Gonna pull a Wax Pack Hero! Got stars in his eyes. Hero! On the podcast tonight.
Hello again, friends. It's time for another installment of Wax Pack's Heroes. Before we can start, though, let's go over the rules. Mark and Jeff are going to play an old-fashioned game of war, except this is more like baseball reference war. They'll each get one card, and will score the baseball reference war of the year of the card. But wait! They can add or subtract points depending on certain aspects of the card and the player's season. Any 80s baseball aesthetics the card displays will earn an extra 1/10 of a point. Or if they don't like something, like 2-in-1 stirrups, they can subtract 1/10 of a point as well. Also, if the player won any awards that season, they get 1/2 a point for each. If the player led the league in any categories, they'll get 1/10 of a point for each positive category, but minus 1/2 a point for each negative one. If there's a Hall of Famer anywhere on the card, that's a whole extra point. If the player had a Costacos Brothers poster made of them, they get 1/2 a point for that. If Ricky Henderson or Nolan Ryan get pulled, the round is over. Jeff automatically wins if either pulls a Ricky card, and Mark wins if Nolan is pulled. If the player has any pop culture references, they get 1/2 a point, unless they appeared on Seinfeld, The Simpsons, or Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That, friends, is a whole point for each. If the player was suspended for off-the-field mischief during their career, or are on the 2SN, don't talk about list, that's a minus 1/2 and a whole point respectively. So with that out of the way, it's time to play Wax Pack Heroes.
Thank you very much, Vin Scully. Those are the rules. Currently, the score mark is 5-3. I am ahead of you. We are playing to 20. We kind of just started this season after I was gypped.
Gypped? Hey, man, it's a tough game.
Yeah. So let's see here, Mark. We're going to go with some 1998 Upper Decks this game. We don't do
Nice.
late 90s very often. So
Very
hopefully we
rare.
can get some new names. I'm going to assume you want to go first.
Yes, please.
All right. Well, then let's go ahead and pull our first card here of the day. All right. Your first card. Oh, it's a good one. You've got Todd Helton.
Nice.
You'll never guess which team he was.
All the teams he played for, I'm going to guess it's Colorado.
I'm
That's
gonna-
just a guess.
Guess you're probably right. All right, so looking at this card, there's nothing here that is going to help you out. It's a rookie card. He's got his pants aren't all the way down, but he's just got black socks on. There's no sanitaries there. He's clean shaven, nothing going on there. So unfortunately for you, yeah, nothing's going to help you out there. Let's see, Todd Helton. 1998. It was his second year in the majors, first full year. Of course, he played 17 years overall, all of them, as you mentioned, in the Rockies. He is a Hall of Famer, too, so you're going to get that just right off the bat. That's good for you.
Yep.
Let's see. He appeared in 152 games. He hit 315, 385 on base, slugged 530 for a 911 OPS, a 119 OPS plus. He had 25 home runs, 97 ribs, and he came in second in the Rookie of the Year balloting. Kerry Wood, who I think rightfully, yeah. I mean, Helton had that's an incredible season, a 3.2 WAR. Kerry Wood ended up with a 3.8 WAR. But as I just told you, that's a 3.2, plus you get the Hall of Fame bonus off of that. Let's see. He was a first-round draft pick, 8th overall by the Rockies in 1995. I don't know if Todd Lynn has a bunch of pop culture. He was a quarterback for the University of Tennessee football team. I think he took over for Peyton Manning. Or no, he was just ahead of Peyton Manning.
That's right. Yes, yes.
I believe Washington State. Yeah, we played Tennessee that year. I remember it was before Peyton Manning. We did play them in football that year.
Yeah, I don't see any cultural.
Well, the good news for you,
cultural reference.
Steroid use was never even a question in regards to Todd Helton.
It was not necessary.
But somebody, I guess a writer, a radio broadcaster for the Cardinals, claimed that manager Don Baylor said that Helton had tried the juice at one point. That's kind of a risky thing to come out and say, both as for Don Baylor and for just a broadcaster, to be like, oh, I got to kill some time. I heard this guy juiced. Yeah, I'd never heard anything about Todd Helton and any kind of steroid, so no problem there for you. War number 17 is a tribute to Mark Grace and has a couple of arrests for DUI.
Okay.
But that'll be a 4.2 for you. That's not a bad way to start off the game.
Yeah, that works for me.
All right, so we've got Hall of Famer versus Hall of Famer. I have got the guy that was traded for Larry Anderson by the Red Sox. It's Jeff Bagwell, who you'll never guess who he played for his entire career as well. We have a theme.
St. Louis Browns.
Close. This is like Marshall's theme packs. We've got all of these themes here going.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. It's a waist up shot, but he's got that. What's it? A Fu Manchu? No, when you got the beard and just the soul patch and the mustache, or in the mustache. What is that? When it's like a circle around your face. What is that?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's the
I
thing.
should be a facial hair expert, you would think.
Yeah. Well, let's just say this. He's got hair on his upper lip and below his lower lip. And that's it. But he also has eye black on, and he is a Hall of Famer. So for me right there, that is 1.2 points before we get into his stuff.
Yikes.
Let's see. Overall, 15 years in the big leagues, all of it with Houston in 1998. Not an all-star this year. Like, he'd been an all-star almost every year of his career. Not 1988, though. Let's see. He hit 304, 424 on base, a 557 slug for a 158 OPS plus. He had 34 home runs, 111 RBI, 19 stolen bases, and a WAR of 6.3.
Jeez.
Wow. didn't receive a single MVP vote.
Wow.
Okay. Wasn't an all-star, didn't receive an MVP vote for that. Interesting. I don't believe I have heard any kind of rumors of the steroids from Jeff Bagwell.
No, me neither.
He was always kind of a big guy, though.
Oh, he's a big dude, yeah.
Always had that interesting stance where it looked like he was sitting down at the plate. I know he lost time because he kept breaking his hand, getting hit by a pitch with this, his hand. I think he was one of the first guys that would wear that pad on his, over his batting glove.
Right, yeah.
To protect him from that. He is definitely a Hall of Famer. I am not sure. Well, here, allegations of steroid use. Speculation abound that he was using when he was being voted for the Hall of Fame. Bagwell was not named in the Mitchell report.
There you go.
And Bobby Cox stood up for him, said he's a first ballot guy.
Nice. Go Bobby.
So, yeah, he was too. So there we go. I do not see any pop culture. Gave the eulogy at Ken Caminiti's funeral. Bagwell is a recovering alcoholic. I didn't know that. Or maybe I did. I don't remember.
Looks like he got sober in 2017. Good for him.
He's been married a number of times, including model Sean Bagwell. Has modeled for Marc Jacobs, Gucci, Victoria's Secret, among others. He liked soccer as much as baseball. How about that?
That bothers me a little bit.
Okay. All right, yeah. So nothing there that's going to ding me. And so I will take round number one. I like that.
Man, I thought I had it. It was Hilton. Jeez.
Yeah, that
was rude, man.
Ravishing even. All right, Mark, your next card. Well, I mean, it's 1998. This is why. Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, this is why Bagwell got nothing in 98. Well, 98 was that perfect season, right? That's the Sosa McGuire year.
Oh, yeah.
So this is going to be a big card for you. I'm not going to lie. Let's see here. Let's take a look at said card. These cards are not great. Like, these are not the best Upper Deck cards I've seen. He's sliding into home plate, which is kind of cool. You're not going to get any stirrups.
Right.
I'm having a hard time seeing if he's got eye black. Yeah, he's got eye black on. I thought he usually had a mustache, but I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see a mustache there. And I'm looking at other cards from that or other Sosa cards, and I don't see mustaches either. So maybe I'm just thinking of something else.
Yeah.
But, the retro. Upper Deck also had a retro set this year. I don't know. It kind of looks like an old Topps card, but much cooler picture of him putting pine tar on a bat before a game in an empty dugout. But that's just me. All right, so eye black will get you 1/10 of a point there to start out with. Now we're going to get into the real stuff, get into his numbers. So overall, 18 years in the big leagues, 13 with the Cubs, 3 with the White Sox, 2 with Texas, and 1 with Baltimore. In 1998, good news for you, MVP season,
Nice.
All-Star as well. Led the league in 1, 2, 3 offensive categories, but also led in strikeouts. So that'll be an extra 0.2 of a point. The MVP is a 0.5 point, and the All-Star is a 0.5 point. So that is 1.2 additional points for you. No Hall of Fame bonus, of course. Overall hit 308, 377 on base, 647 slug for a 160 OPS plus. He hit 66 home runs, 158 RBI, stole 18 bases, and had a 6.5 WAR.
That's pretty good.
Now, I don't know. Did he have any steroid allegations?
Oh, God.
I think.
Gee, I wonder.
Yeah, I think we can go ahead and minus a point for that. I'm sure. Oh, he has to have. He had to be doing. I don't remember any pop culture references, but he had to be something, right?
I guess not. Yeah, I don't see anything either.
Like he wasn't on Letterman or something during this chase? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything either.
It's so foreign to me that he would not have done something, but I can't find anything easily, and that's the mark of that one. So that'll be a 6.8 for you. I mean, I'd say that's pretty good unless I pull Mark McGuire here.
Which you may.
I might, yes.
After that last round, I am counting no chickens.
All right, I have got Reggie Sanders.
Ah, okay.
Not quite Sammy Sosa.
No.
Let's see here. He's got the sleeveless jerseys on here for the Reds, but nothing that is going to help me here. Yeah, nothing on this card is going to help me out. Reggie Sanders, overall 17 years in the big league. Cincinnati for 8, the Cards and the Royals for 2, and then 1 apiece for the Giants, the Padres, the Bucks, the D-backs, and Arizona. And Atlanta. No, I said the D-backs, and then Atlanta. 1998, his last year in Cincinnati. Hit 268, 346 on base, 418 slugging for a 99 OPS plus, 14 home runs, 59 ribs, 20 stolen bases, and a 2.4 WAR, which would normally be great.
Yeah. Sosa held up. I don't believe it.
Yeah, Sosa a little bit better than that, and as expected, not anything from the pop culture from Reggie Sanders. So that'll be a win for you. Congratulations. We're tied 1-1.
1-1.
All right, Mark, your next card is Jeff Suppan. I made it French. I made it very French. Jeff Suppan. He is with the D-backs here. I'm going to give you credit. This is the time where pants were starting to get long. They're down to his shoe. I can see, though, because he's stretching in his pitch here, he's got stirrups on, but I can see just a sliver of sanitary whites underneath it. So he actually did put on the stirrups. So you will get a 1/10 of a point from that. That's going to be the only thing from this card, though, that's going to help you. Soup is his nickname. And overall, 17 years in the big league. He's a right-hander, too. 17 years in the big leagues. Royals for 5, Brewers, Cardinals, and Red Sox for 4, and then the Bucks, D-backs, and Padres for parts of seasons. 1998, he split time between Arizona and the Royals. Overall, he went 1-7 with a 5.72 ERA. 78 2/3 innings pitched, 91 hits allowed, 51 strikeouts for a 76 ERA plus, and a WAR of -0.7.
Nice.
Wow. Yikes. That's a lot of minuses there on the WAR. Not traded for any names that we need to talk about, and I am going to just guess that there's not a whole lot of pop culture for Jeff Suppan.
Doesn't appear to be, no.
Well, he's a restaurateur. His restaurant, Soup's Grill, is jointly operated with his wife in Woodland Hills, California. It closed, though, in 2016 when he became the pitching coach for the Idaho Falls Chuckers.
Ah, okay.
Well, he appeared in a DVD, Champions of Faith, and in Rosary Stars, Praying the Gospel. I'm not sure that...
He's a good Catholic.
Yeah. I mean, I can guess where his political leanings lie, since he was in a political advertisement alongside Jim Caviezel and Mike Sweeney and Kurt Warner, if you know anything about those guys.
But he also was in with Michael J. Fox and Claire McCaskill, who was a Democrat. So, who knows? Who knows? We're not here. We already made our political statement about national parks earlier. So, all right. So, Jeff Suppan will get you a -0.6. Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Oh, thanks, Soup.
Soup, yeah. Soup's a good name. Usually got to be named Campbell to be nicknamed Soup. But you will be going up against, for me, Tony Womack. Let's see. This card is an interesting card. Okay. This is very artistic. So this card, remember there's a Ricky Henderson Upper Deck card. I think it's either maybe 1990, where he's with the A's and he's stealing second base, and it's like a time lapse of him running. It's like 4 shots of him, and they've merged it all into one picture, so it kind of looks like he's running across the card.
Right.
This is Tony Womack in a pinstripe Pittsburgh Pirates jersey, where they've done the same thing. He's at second base, and he's sliding over. It looks like Tony Clark is trying to break up a double play, and he's jumping over him and throwing the ball to first. No stirrups. He does have eye black and facial hair. He's on here 3 times. Do I get 3 eye blacks and 3 mustaches, or?
I think you get 6 eye blacks. So you get one for each eye.
All right. Maybe I'll just take the 3 or the 2. I'll just take the 2 to keep it all above board. Let's see. Tony Womack, overall 13 years in the big leagues. Arizona and Pittsburgh for 5 apiece. The Cubs for 2. And then the Cardinals, Yankees, Rockies, and Reds for parts of seasons. 1998. Oh, good news for me. In the middle of 3 years of leading the league in stolen bases with 58. Overall, he hit 282, 319 on base. Wow. That's a very low on base percentage to...
Man.
I mean, he just didn't walk. He hit well, but he didn't walk. Right. 357 on base. I'm sorry, 319 on base, 357 slug for a 77 OPS plus. He hit 3 home runs, knocked in 45, as I mentioned, led the league with 58 steals for a .9 WAR. So I think I'm going to win this round pretty handily. These are some ugly uniforms. I remember these coming through Atlanta. The road, they were pinstripes with the Pirates, but their hats were all gray. I guess at least they weren't pinstriped.
Yeah.
Tony Womack, I doubt is going to have any pop culture. Had Tommy John surgery, though.
That's interesting.
But Womack set up Luis Gonzalez's famous game-winning single in Game 7 of the 2001 World Series against the Yankees and Mariano Rivera. His game-tying double was cited by the Wall Street Journal in 2006 as the most significant clutch hit in baseball history.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe the Wall Street Journal should maybe just stick to Wall Street.
Yeah, that didn't even cross my mind. That was one of the biggest.
I mean, it was a big hit, maybe the biggest hit in Diamondbacks history, but I'm going to say there's no.
Yeah, I can't go with that either.
No. All right, I will take the win there. I'm up 2-1 and on the verge of closing this out. At least you won a round. You didn't the last 2, I think, weeks. You did not win a round.
No sweep this time, pal.
No. All right, your next card is pitcher Kevin Brown.
So this could be good.
Here he is with the Fish this year. He's got facial hair. It's just a shot of him. Let's see here. A facial hair, yes. Nothing else, though, is going to help you out there. But it's at least a positive for you. It's a spring training shot. Facial hair, nothing else. All right, Kevin Brown, 19 years in the big leagues. Texas for 8, Dodgers for 5, the Fish and the Yankees for 2, and then the Padres and the Orioles for 1 apiece. Good news for you, Cy Young came in 3rd. He was an all-star this year, and there's a lot of black ink. A lot of black ink here for you. So let's go through it here. He went 18-7 this year with a 2.38 ERA. That's pretty good. 257 innings pitched, 225 hits allowed, 257 strikeouts. That's 1 strikeout per inning. Impressive. For an ERA plus of 162, he did lead the league in FIP and home runs allowed per 9, as in the lowest. Also led the league in games started, as well as WAR with 8.6.
Wow.
An 8.6 WAR. He was an all-star, so you get half a point for that. And then he led 4 different categories, so that'll be another positive 0.4 of a point for a 9.6.
Wow.
That's pretty good. Won a World Series with the Fish in 1997, in which he did not pitch that well.
He was named in the Mitchell report.
Oh, was he? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did not know that.
I didn't either. That'll knock a half a point off. I don't think it's going to matter, but did not pitch well in the 97 World Series. He went 0-2 with an 8.18 ERA. Yikes. Let's see here. He was traded for Derek Lee at one point and Jeff Weaver. Those are kind of the most biggest names. Currently an assistant baseball coach at Tatnall Square Academy. I don't know if that is still true or not. Been involved in multiple handgun-related incidents. Neighbor reported in 2006 that Brown pulled out a gun over dispute over yard debris.
Oh, I can understand that.
Yeah, totally. That is completely reasonable. And in 2018, he held 2 suspected mall thieves at gunpoint until police arrived. That's how you kill innocent people, right there.
Male thieves.
No, mall thieves. Oh, no, it does say male thieves. All right. So I was thinking this was in a mall. I'm like, just let him go. Let somebody else. Maybe this was just they were rifling through his mailbox and he came out with a gun. That would still let him just.
Don't put a scare in him.
Let's just keep our guns to ourselves here, people. All right. But you got a 9.1, which is going to be very hard to beat, I feel.
Yeah.
All right. And I will be trying to do it with none other than Mike Stanley. Don't have a lot of.
You might be in trouble here.
I don't have a lot of faith on this one. Here at the Blue Jays, well, good news, stirrups. I like it. They can see the real stirrups here. Spring Upper Deck got all their shots in spring training this year. Every single one of them. Mike Stanley, overall 15 years in the big leagues. Texas for 6, Boston and New York for 5 apiece, and then Toronto and Oakland. I do not remember a 2000 Mike Stanley on the Oakland A's. 1998, though, he split time between 2 teams, Toronto and Boston. Overall, he hit 256, 364 on base, 481 slugging for a 118 OPS plus. Hit 29 home runs, 79 RBI, and had a 2.2 WAR, which would be great. I think for Mike Stanley, I think that's great.
Yeah, career WAR of 20.9. I mean.
Yeah, but unfortunately for me, I'm going up against a very well-regarded Kevin Brown in that.
Yeah, he had a good year.
Let's see. Son Tanner played in 2005 Little League World Series. One of Tanner's teammates was Dante Bichette Jr.
Huh.
Stanley and Dante Bichette Sr. served as 2 assistant coaches. Did some coaching in Florida for a school, but that is it. Stanley caught the last of Nolan Ryan's career 7 no-hitters in 1991.
Very nice.
So that round will go to you. We're tied at 1 apiece.
How about that?
Yeah,
no, I
all
think
right.
you got 2.
What?
No, you have 2?
Yeah, we're tied. We're tied at 2 apiece. So we're going to a winner takes all around here.
Here we go, folks.
Why we play the game.
That's right.
All right. Your card is, oh God, you get a Mike Piazza card.
Wow.
Well, you've got a lot of pop culture here. Let's see. The card for this year, well, you got the facial hair. That's going to be it. Facial hair is all you're getting from the card, but he is a Hall of Famer. So that'll be a 1.1 right off the bat. Overall, 16 years in the big leagues, 8 for the Mets, 7 for the Dodgers, Padres, Oakland, and Florida. Can you really count those 5 games in Florida as a year? But they are. 1998, 3 teams he played for. The Dodgers, the Fish, and then the Mets. Overall, he hit 328 that year, 390 on base, a 570 slugging percentage for a 152 OPS plus, 32 home runs, 111 RBI, and a 6.3 WAR. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just add your half a point for pop culture because...
You know, he was even on something fairly recently, Special Forces World's Toughest
Oh, that's
Test.
right. I watched that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he had a good shot at winning that, but he was woefully out of shape. I give him the credit for the Baywatch during the strike, swinging the bat on the beach. And
I remember he came through with Albuquerque when I was working in Tacoma, and pitcher Greg Hansel and him were roommates. And he's like, I remember talking to Hansel and him saying, Mike plays his metal music so loud.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was a big metal fan, huh?
Yeah.
Also appeared in the 1991 film The Big Kahuna.
Okay.
That's about what I say to that. All right. And we've covered Mike Piazza quite a bit before. I think we're okay there, but that will end. You got a 7.9. I mean, that's between he and Kevin.
Yeah, I got a good shot here.
Yeah, well, I've got a future manager for my old favorite team.
This is not a manager's card.
Yeah, that is true. I do have a fighting chance with Mark Kotze here with the Florida Fish.
I used Kotze in a sentence once. Someone challenged me to do that. And I said, what if you caught, say, a 30-pound salmon?
I would go with, what does the cot say? Na, 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 na.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
A little, I have no idea who sings that. What does the fox say?
Ilvis, I think. Something like that.
Ilvis, is that I have no idea. Nothing on this card is going to help me. No stirrups, no facial hair, no eye black, no nothing. Mark Kotze, overall 17 years in the big leagues. The Padres for 5, Oakland and Florida for 4, White Sox and Red Sox for 2 apiece, and then Milwaukee, Atlanta for parts of a season each. 1998 was his first full season in the big leagues. Mark Kotze never led the league in anything his entire career. He did get MVP votes in 2004 with the A's, though. I like that.
And he is in the College Hall of Fame.
Okay, he's got that going for him. 279 average, a 318 on base, slugged 403 for a 94 OPS plus. 11 home runs, 68 ribs, 10 stolen bases, and a 3.9 WAR. So I'm exactly 4 behind you, looking for a
Normally, you'd be pretty happy with that.
Normally, yes. First round draft pick, 9th overall by the Marlins in 1996. He was traded by the Padres to the A's for Ramon Hernandez and T. Long. And that's really the biggest name that he was traded for. Obviously now a manager, kind of a well-regarded manager, I think, for doing what he did, has done with the A's team and what they've gone through since Bob Brenly left. Or I'm sorry, Bob Melvin. Bob Brenly. He managed the final game at the Coliseum. His father is a retired L.A. police motorcycle officer. But I am nowhere near your Mike Piazza score. So congratulations to you. You are the winner, and you are now you've climbed to within 1. The score is 5-4.
I had to get out of that rut, man.
Yeah, you were in 1 for sure. All right, that'll do it for this episode of Wax Packs Heroes. Also going to do it for this episode, period. We're going to put a stamp on it. If you want more of us, good news. There's plenty of it to go around. You can look in the show notes. We've got all our links there, or you can do a Google search. It's 2 Strike Noise, TWO. Spell out that number, Strike Noise. You can find it everywhere. Just a reminder that I do stream on YouTube and Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 o'clock West Coast time. I really have been enjoying it. I know we've got some listeners that pop in regularly, and I have a lot of fun. It's fun getting to interact with listeners as opposed to just record something like this and then say, here you go. Mark, we also have already had one listener already send us their Spotify Wrapped, where we are taking up way too much of their time looking at that number. But I appreciate that. I really do, that anybody would listen to us for that amount of time in 1 year. But yeah, if you've got those, send it to us. Love to see them. I really appreciate that. But there's also an email address that you can send those to as well that Mark's going to tell you about.
Yeah, you can write to us at 2 Strike Noise. Again, spell out the number TWO strike noise at gmail.com.
That's it. All right, everybody. We will see you again next week. Hopefully you can join us. Thank you for listening to us here. We'll see you again on the next episode of 2 Strike Noise.
Thank you. God bless you. Have a great day.